Back in 1999, Gretchen Hamm's gay daughter Catherine was getting married. Not one to sit on the sidelines, she jumped into wedding planning with the same gusto that she did for her heterosexual son. However, Gretchen soon became frustrated by the lack of resources available to same-sex couples, and without missing a beat, launched twobridesandtwogrooms.com and entered the uncharted waters of same-sex marriage planning.
Over the past 10 years, daughter Catherine has joined the business, which morphed into GayWeddings.com, the largest and most comprehensive resource for same-sex weddings. And just a few weeks ago, their business has gone positively mainstream with the announcement of a partnership with a major online wedding planning site. Joining the babes to talk about their labor of love is founder and spokesmom Gretchen Hamm. Welcome, Gretchen, to Two Boomer Babes.
I'm glad to be with you all. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Gretchen, take us back to the late 1990s when your daughter Catherine announced that she was getting married. Did you have any idea that planning a same-sex wedding would be so difficult?
You know, it's interesting. It's the process of it, the things that come up from when I'm kind of an excitable kind of person, and so I wanted to tell all my friends in Dallas and everything about Catherine was getting married, my daughter's getting married. Sometimes it wasn't people I knew very well. And the more I talked about it, all of a sudden I realized I would have to say that she's marrying a woman and not a man. And so this was my branching out process. So every conversation I had with, whether they were friends or associates who maybe didn't even know Catherine, I got bolder and bolder, and before I knew it, I was just saying, well, she's marrying a woman. And, it was so interesting because all of these people reacted with, my sister's gay, my brother's gay, my best friend is gay. And all of a sudden it gave a permission for everybody to talk about these people in their lives that they love so dearly. And there's like this non-permission to talk about them.
Right. But you also had a lot of obstacles logistically, right, planning this wedding?
1999, not that many same-sex couples were having ceremonies. And even though Catherine and Amy's was not going to be legal, in every sense, it was a marriage to our family. And so I went, okay, I'm going to do everything I would do if she were marrying a man, because that was the only standard I had for weddings. And in other words, I wanted it to be absolutely the best it could be. And because I was so thrilled of the two of them getting married. And I think one of the biggest things was since they were marrying out of town, there in y'all's area, I said, well, I'm going to send out wedding announcements to all of our friends and family that aren't coming, aren't invited, because that's the thing you do. Well, my husband said, well, you don't need to do that. We'll send out a Christmas letter. And I said, we don't send out Christmas letters. We're not going to do that. We're going to send out announcements. And I had other friends, some gay friends, that even kind of were negative about it. So this was an obstacle for me. And I mentioned it to Catherine, and I said, what is the deal? And she said, Mom, it's your coming out process. And it just clicked. I got it. And boy, did those wedding announcements fly out right after their ceremony and let everybody deal with, because a lot of friends didn't even know Catherine was gay at this point, well after college graduation. And she was exactly right. It was our coming out to everybody we knew.
Well, you also had that don't get mad, get busy mentality, which we babes can totally relate to. And you decided to start a business catering to this neglected market. How smart. How did you really get the idea? I mean, obviously you were living it.
Well, I when I was getting ready to come to D.C. for their bridal shower, and I went down to the gay shopping area in Dallas, and I thought, I'll just pick up a wedding album and all these things for their wedding shower. And you know what? Nothing existed. And I was so surprised because, I tend to think something's already been invented. So I went on to D.C. and was lamenting this fact at their bridal shower, and this friend of Catherine and Amy said, well, and remember, this is 1999, in the height of the .com frenzy. They said, why don't you start twobrides.com? And I said, what a great idea. I will. And so I did. And that's when I got busy, and then I went, I don't want to leave the boys out, so I'll start twogrooms.com. Since then, we've acquired gayweddings.com, and we're known as gayweddings.com.
Well, Gretchen, when you were first starting this business, how did potential vendors react to your sales pitch? I mean, did people look at you like you're little nuts?
They were surprised. They had never heard of it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking for products, number one, that didn't exist. And so, for cake toppers, I would find freestanding brides and grooms, and oh, voila, here we have some, new couples. And, repair them, two grooms and two brides. And those have always been one of our top products. And I think we probably have one of the best selections of anybody. And I think the other thing that, so what changed over time, over the last 10 or 11 years, so I would go and I would ask for products, and because it was so unusual, vendors remembered me. And when I went to the New York Stationery Show, this was so new to them, they haven't even considered it. And then I go back a year or two later, and they actually remembered me before I said what I did. And, their thinking had begun to change, and they were eager to help me. It was fantastic.
And they were probably seeing a lot of dollar signs.
I bet.
Well, probably so. And yes, probably so.
You really opened a new market.
Yes, we did. We're definitely the pioneer in this field.
Now,
and so proud of it, actually.
How does planning a same-sex wedding differ from planning a heterosexual wedding?
Again, it's kind of in the process. It's, so many same-sex couples want the same thing that a heterosexual couple would want. Yet, for a same-sex couple, their family may not be on board. So there's a whole different process of it. Many of their guests have never been to a same-sex wedding. I think the interesting thing about it is that they have the opportunity to design their own ritual. There's a freedom that maybe a heterosexual couple doesn't have because they're more bound by tradition. So I think that is the beauty of a same-sex wedding, is this freedom to design your own ritual.
We're speaking with Gretchen Hamm, the mother of the mother-daughter executive team of gayweddings.com. So, Gretchen, from your website, what do you see as the trends in same-sex wedding celebrations? Are destination weddings really big like they are for heterosexual couples?
Yes, they are. And, in fact, my daughter and her partner had a destination wedding. It was very fun. What a great weekend. And overall, I think the trends of same-sex marriages reflect the wedding trends heterosexual couples as well.
Same-sex marriages are really big business these days, and we read an article in the USA Today which quoted a statistic which blew us away of 16.5 million gay men and lesbians with a total buying power of $450 billion. That is one huge lucrative market. And that said, are traditional wedding vendors really clamoring to get into the same-sex wedding business, or is there still some concern that they're going to alienate the more traditional market? What have you seen out there?
I think there is some concern, but I have seen such a shift over the last 11 years where vendors, they want to be a part of this market. They see the opportunity that same-sex couples offer in the wedding business. And as we all have watched, as this whole conversation about same-sex marriages, it's been so prevalent the last few years, everybody's more aware of it and more accepting of it. And, it's fantastic that daughters of two of the more conservative politicians, President Bush and Senator McCain, their daughters, Meghan McCain and Barbara Bush, have come out full force on equal rights and marriage for same-sex couples.
Well, we hear you have some recent, very exciting news. Can you tell us about your partnership with WeddingWire.com?
Yes. I mean, it is very exciting because one thing I always have said since I started this business is I wish we didn't need to be here, that we were all just one big happy wedding world, and this is a big step for us that we are now blended in with WeddingWire.com. And what that has offered to us is we now have 25,000 vendors to offer to our customers who are gay-friendly, want to work with same-sex couples. And, these are vendors from all over the country. You put in your state and what you're looking for, whether it's a florist or a wedding band or music, whatever.
Oh, that's great.
And it's just fabulous. It's so great. And it's a real acknowledgement of our coming into the mainstream market.
Exactly. And isn't it also an acknowledgement that same-sex marriage is a big business and that there's lots of money to be made out there as well?
It's clearly a opportunity to increase your business, and I think it's really important to be thoughtful about it.
Gretchen, you are fondly known as the straight mom to the same-sex wedding industry and the spokesmom for same-sex couples. Well, since your daughter is now responsible for the day-to-day operation of the business, how do you see your role?
I have expanded more in the advocacy of equal rights for the LGBT community, gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgendered. I've lobbied on Capitol Hill. I just know what a difference it makes from way back in my early days of just being bold enough to say to my friends, my daughter's gay, and she's marrying another woman, and it just opened the floodgates of conversation. And I know that what I'm striving for is equal rights. It deeply bothers me that my son, as an American citizen, has more rights than my daughter as an American citizen. And that is not right, and that's what I'm working for.
Right. And we also think you're really lucky you get to work with your daughter.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You're lucky.
It's really great. She is so creative and has such great ideas, and she's a wonderful, wonderful addition to this business.
Well, Gretchen Hamm, the mother of the mother-daughter executive team of GayWeddings.com, thanks so much for sharing your story with the babes.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you when I'm in D.C.
Great.
You've been listening to Two Boomer Babes. We'll be right back.